So the reality is your content isn't performing well and it isn't generating any leads for your business, and it just feels like a complete waste of time. I get it. But the reality is you don't need more posts, you don't need more followers. What you need is one video strategy that actually converts, right? Maybe you've been posting for so long, and I remember when I was first posting, all it took was one video strategy, right? After literally testing out hundreds of videos, once I found one video that worked, it changed my brand forever. So I'm going to be talking about a single video that brought my client 3,400 leads and a $500,000 deal from one single video. As you can see here, it actually got 16,000 leads. I'm not sure why I made the title 3,000. As you can see here, he's saying I have one pending that's worth $500,000. Now, the craziest part was it wasn't an ad. It wasn't salesy, like he was trying to sell hard. So while you're chasing reach, a lot of your competitors are using this exact video style, right? Or a method of finding videos that perform well. Like, yeah, this was the video, got 2.8 million views, and the same video we posted again, got 340. The reason why they're different thumbnails is because it was a stitch video. I'll get into that later on. But yeah, these videos got 16,000 leads, $500,000 in sales, and $0 spent on ads. So in this video, I'll show you the exact content formula to drive these leads, and I'm going to be showing you the exact viral pattern that we use to make these videos blow up, and exactly how you can replicate it no matter what niche you're in, because you can do this no matter how boring your business is. So let's get into it. Step one is that you want to find the pattern, right? Not just the topic. Because that's like, the topic's important, of course, but you need to find the pattern so you can actually learn the skill and do it over and over again instead of getting lucky once. So most people only look for the ideas inside of their own niche, right? Which is what you should be doing, right? Which is great. That's fine. You definitely should, but don't limit yourself to that. Because the fastest way to come up with viral concepts is by pulling inspiration from across the broader business space, right? So for example, you're a business owner, right? One thing you should never do is go outside of the business space, right? Stay inside the business space, but there's lots of content ideas inside the business space. But never go outside the business space. Don't try to be like some YouTuber influencer, you know, like some like kid YouTuber influencer, right? Never go outside. Like, always stay in the business space. There's plenty of content. Like, there's actually millions of pieces of content in the business space. So yeah, so what we look for, right, when we find these, you know, performing videos is, of course, it has to perform well, right, and get lots of views. But when we find a video that gets lots of views, you need to look at these things. You need to look at how fast the hook grabs attention, right? Everything is within 3 seconds. The most important part of your video is the first 3 seconds of your video. That will always be the most important part, no matter what. Like, you've probably heard that a million times, but it is. You need to optimize for the first 3 seconds. Now, analyzing the video, right? What emotion did it trigger? Curiosity, disbelief, or excitement? For the video that performed really well for my client, it was curiosity and a mix of disbelief. And how fast was the video, and the flow from setup to conflict to resolution, all right? So the goal is simple. Find the pattern behind what made the video perform well. Now let's get into the next part. Before that, like, this next part is where most people mess up. They find great ideas, but they never adapt them correctly, and that's why step 2 is the most important one. Like, without step 2, everything else just falls apart. So step 2 is you want to adapt the format back to your niche. So now that we find the structure, this is where you make it ours, right? This is where you adapt it to your specific niche. So you keep the same pacing, you keep the same emotional style delivery, but you rewrite the topic entirely to connect with your client's audience and offer. That means you, right? So, for example, right, for one of my clients, we had a video where he was talking about a tax structure, and the most boring video ever got 600,000 views. And here's how we did it. So we took a roleplay video from a private jet company. You probably know them, Amalfi Jets, right? If I go to their, Instagram page, you probably know who they are. They do these interesting style of, like, roleplay videos. And when they do that, like it performs really well. So their private jets aren't landing for their clients. That's like a scenario. So we adapted it back to our client, right? A client doesn't want to pay millions of dollars in taxes when selling to their client. So, you know, a video about how to get trust, like how to set up a trust, got 400k views. Like the most boring topic ever, got 400k views because we made it an interesting scenario. Like we made it as if one of their clients is selling $20 million and they don't want to pay a lot of tax, and then we made it interesting. So the same emotional setup, but with the business owner lens, right, of your own business. So basically, to sum it up, take a viral roleplay video, like what they did, how they made people feel, and adapt it back to your niche. So the result is, you know, it makes people feel natural, right, and fun to watch, and you still nurture them towards your business at the same time because you're showing how you help people solve problems. So once you've nailed the format, this next part I'm about to show you is what determines whether you attract buyers or just views, right? From these videos here, we got 16,000 leads and that a bunch of deals, right? That's because we not only attracted views, but we also attracted buyers. Most people just always attract views and end up making like $10 from their content. So this is where subtle offer positioning comes in. So step 3 is subtle offer positioning. This is so important because the big mistake people make is that they create content, but no one knows what they're selling, right? If no one knows what you're selling and you don't convey that in your content without, like, in the right way, people are never going to know what you sell and they're never going to buy it. Like, that's pretty common sense. So your video should lead with value. So give, teach, or reveal something that instantly helps your offer, your audience. And then once you deliver value, you always want to bridge it back to your offer. So here's the flow we use for this client. The first 80% of the video was pure value, lessons, insight, and storytelling, right? Basically value that the audience could take and implement and learn straight away. And then in the final 20%, he tied it back to something saying like, and that's exactly why we help our clients set up trust to save their money on taxes, because most business owners don't know how to apply this properly, right? So he's not saying, if you want me to set up your trust, you know, then hit up my line or call me and pay me $999, right? He's not saying, yo, here's my service, buy it now, like an ad. He's subtly saying it, right? So that's exactly why we help clients trust. Like, most people never buy from you because they don't know what you sell. And when you do say what you sell, the video doesn't perform well because you made it sound like an ad, right? So you got to deliver value first and then bridge it back to your offer. That is how you do subtle offer positioning. That is how you do it properly. So step 4, a CTA that feels natural. So there's 2 types of CTAs you should be using in videos. Type 1 is a lead magnet CTA, right? So this is like lead connection and collection. So for example, telling people to comment guide and you'll send them a training, right? And then you can collect their emails in return to build up your email list. Type 2 of CTAs is an offer CTA. So this is what got my client tons of leads towards his business. Like I said, the 16,000 leads. So this is where you tell people to comment something and you'll send them, like, to, you know, do the service for them. For example, my client said, comment taxes if you want us to set up these trusts for you. So this drives qualified leads straight into a chat with, you know, your setter or a landing page that you may have, or just get people to book in a call with you straight away. Now, how many leads did we actually get? So we told people to comment a keyword, and within days that post actually had 4,000 comments. Today it has 16,000 comments and it's still getting leads to this day. Like, to this day. And it literally blew up his receptionist inbox, where like his receptionist couldn't handle how many leads they were getting. So that's how you build real virality and create an inbound sales machine. So step 5, why did it work? This is the last step. And this is like, here's what I need you to understand. So let's actually summarize the mechanics behind this video, success, and why it worked so well. And not only getting views, but hardcore leads that were ready to buy. So 1, it was because it felt natural, like a values first video, instead of someone that's just trying to get in your face and sell you some crap, right? It targeted the right audience. It used, and that's because we used a hook that was in his niche, right? We didn't try to be like some influencer. We stayed in his niche. It used a proven viral storytelling format that hooked people in, showed a big problem and showed the solution. And we positioned the solution as my client's offer. So it clearly tied back to my client's offer, and it had a call to action that converted views into conversations. Easy. This is literally the 5-step formula. Look at this and just like stint this into your brain. Memorize this, literally. So here's the formula. Viral format times clear offer, emotional hook, boom, qualified leads. I'm just gonna make that huge, all right? Viral format, clear offer, emotional hook. That's how you get qualified leads. Easy, right? That's how you can literally create a 45-second video, turn that into 3,000 leads, and like a $500,000 deal. Viral format, clear offer, emotional hook, qualified leads. That's how you can do it without a single dollar on ads. Simple. Yeah, end of the video. Use these simple 5 steps, use this viral formula. And if you want me to do this whole viral formula for you, if you want me to post 30 videos a month for you, strategize everything, and use this exact formula for every single one of your videos, imagine how much strategy would go behind your brand. I'll do that all for you, while you only need to spend 2 hours a month. So yeah, click the first link down below. I hope this video helped. If it did, then subscribe, like for more of this content, so it shows me to actually create more of it. And then watch one of these videos up here. This is going to show you how to actually find these viral videos and adapt them back to your niche. See you in the next video.